Hi, I'm Annette from Nothing Without Us, Stories and Discussions of Meaningful Inclusion. This podcast has never been directly about politics, but more about the inclusion of people with disabilities in all of life processes. However, today I am going to share some extraordinarily sad and angry feelings about this election. We should all remember, and I'm sorry that Americans really do have a very short memory and clearly a very short attention span. We seem to have forgotten that the only reason the orange-faced monster decided to run for president was to stay out of jail. He declared that he was running for office after indictments started rolling in. That was his reason. And it's because he had already announced that after careful consideration, Biden announced that he would run against him because he was the one that was able to defeat him before. We forget these two important facts. I blame a lot of what has happened. I blame this awful election result on the mainstream media. That's right. The mainstream media, ever since the 2020 election, has normalized lies, has normalized criminal behavior, has normalized dementia in the body of that person that won this election, that I will never call president again, by the way. They normalized it every step of the way. They fed into the misogyny that exists in this country. They fed into the hate and normalized this absolutely horrid behavior. If you had a child that acted like this, like that person has, you would ground him until he grew up. You would, do all kinds of things to make sure that he learned a lesson. We did not hold him accountable. Mainstream media normalized it. At the same time that mainstream media was normalizing this behavior, they picked on Biden's age. Now, Biden's age was not much older than that orange-faced monster. I'm sorry, I can't really get the name out right now. It's just stuck. But he had a couple of falls. But man, he did a good job of running this country. He improved our economic situation, grew the economy, grew jobs, made significant impact in reducing inflation. He just did a whole lot to make life better, reduce costs of insulin and other medications. Had a real mess to clean up after COVID and that person's handling of COVID, or I should say mishandling of COVID. And the tax policies that he instituted that raised our debt ceiling so dramatically because he gave billionaires tax cuts and left the rest falling on us, on the middle class and others. So, but Biden did all of this, and yet the minute he had that one bad debate, the first thing mainstream media did was, he's got to get out of the race. Really? This other guy is demented. He is constantly lying. 81 indictments, for gosh sakes, 34 criminal convictions, and Biden's got to get out of the race. Yes, this makes me angry, and I am angry for it, and I'm really sad for it as well. At the same time, when Kamala Harris stepped up, and I have to say she really pulled in a good partner for a vice presidential candidate, somebody who was real, authentic, and could see how to bring the message to people. But they only had 2 months to campaign against 9 years of this constant berating everybody, the campaign of hate that has gone on since Obama was in office, and that's when Trump started his campaign of hate. But they did a good job. They really did. They did not turn away from any opportunity, any interview, any rally, any chance to get the message to the people. Criticized heavily, by the way, for not doing enough interviews or enough rallies or enough anything, when he himself was backing out of all of them because he was making such an idiot of himself. But never was Harris given a break. Talk about misogyny coming from the media, including from women in the media like Dana Bash. How could she ever dare say that after Harris's town hall meeting, well, I'm not sure she brought it home. She didn't really, wrap it up here and close the deal. Trump didn't even have the guts to show up. He did not have the guts to debate again. He did not have any courage. And you're criticizing her because you don't think she's done enough? When policies were coming out, she doesn't have policies. She has policies. She outlined very clear what these policies were. Did the orange-faced monster do that? No, he had concepts of a plan. Definitely tariffs, which we'll all be paying for because we're the only ones that will pay for them, not the billionaire companies, and certainly nobody else. Other than that, he has his whole agenda was hate and retribution, because he doesn't like being a loser. And he wants to be the bully. He is a bully, and the whole MAGA movement is bullying. So, again, Harris had policies that had meaning for people. Never, ever have you heard a meaningful policy come out of that monster's mouth. Not one, not one. You say, oh, he was in business. Yeah, he bankrupted all his businesses. Oh, he understands tariffs. No, he obviously has no concept of tariffs and what they do. So he just thinks it's a good thing to say. He thinks generating hate makes people like him, and it certainly got him elected. And I'm sorry about that. I am devastated about that. I am devastated. Okay, I'm older in life. It's probably not going to have the long-term effect on me, but our grandchildren, the next generation, it is going to take, if we get to fix this in 2 years, it's going to take at least 3 more generations to fix the damage that has been done. After all of this, and I'm telling you, this is what has made me, I canceled my subscriptions to any newspaper that I had. I was a big believer in good journalism, but now I have canceled all my subscriptions because there is no meaning. You can write well and say this all kinds of garbage, and which is what has been promoted, which is what the New York Times has promoted, which is what CNN has promoted, and MSNBC, and all of these. I'm saying there are individuals in there that were not this bad, but overall, the mainstream media, the thrust of the mainstream media was absolutely horrible. They are, even today, I'm recording this before Harris's concession speech, or before she's called him. Now, remember, the orange-faced monster never conceded after losing the 2020 election. And here it's one day, not even all the votes are counted yet, and the media is complaining that she is a sore loser because she has not yet conceded. And that is disgusting. That is something we can never, ever accept in this country ever again. You used to be the fourth estate. You used to be what helped keep the boat from, going over. You steadied the boat instead of rocking it. This is not even, or you'd rock it when it needed to be. This is not acceptable. This is not journalism. This is despicable. And like I said, I have canceled my subscriptions. I will not watch any mainstream media on television. There are other ways to get what is really news. I am the person, yes, I am really depressed today about all of this, but I am the person that will take a couple minutes to lick my wounds, but I am going to go in fighting. Not violent fighting. I don't believe in it. I don't think we should ever use it. I don't think it will ever solve anything. But we need to stand up for our rights in every way imaginable. And let's do it. Let's fight the good fight. Let's find every toehold we can. Let's put up candidates who in 2 years can take over the House and the Senate. Let's make sure then we block any other new additions to the Supreme Court. There are no guardrails now, but we can fight to get some guardrails in 2 years, and we need to do it. We need to we need to block all attempts to further take away our rights. I just find it so disgusting that my grandchildren and future generations don't even have as many rights as I had. And that's just like, how could we go so far backwards by listening to these lies? We do know if you say a lie often enough, people start to believe it. But when mainstream media turns around and repeats it, normalizes it, and glorifies it, then they have to go. I do not subscribe. I recommend Daily Beast started calling Harris a sore loser hours ago. Will not ever listen to them again. I've canceled the New York Times. I've canceled the Wall Street Journal. Washington Post. None of them are any good, and I will not ever listen to them again. Let's fight in a different way. Let's show them what really needs to be done and how we should be doing it instead of playing this game. I am sad. I am angry. And I would rather take the action needed than to give up. I'm Annette Bourbonniere from Nothing Without Us, Stories and Discussions of Meaningful Inclusion. If you like this podcast, please share it. I need to have this podcast grow. Give me a thumbs up. We do have tiers to allow you to support this podcast with paid memberships as well. Again, thank you for listening. I'm Annette Bourbonniere. Till the next Nothing Without Us.